I want to move on now, and I want to get your calls on this. Should private school kids be banned from work experience placements? 0207 862 2222, that's the number, so give us a ring. Some NHS trusts are reportedly only offering work experience placements to local state schools. Supporters argue that policies like that help level the playing field, as students at private schools are over 4 times more likely to get work experience through family or friends compared to their state-educated peers. Critics, though, have accused the NHS of discrimination and say talented students, including those on bursaries at private schools, may miss out. So, should work experience placements be prioritised for state school pupils, or should they be awarded on merit? Can you see the side of this, though, Angela, where privilege, that privilege brings with it connections, doesn't it? And easy routes into the best paying jobs. Shouldn't we just be putting that aside? That's a tiny fraction of kids, and look at state school and the talent that's there.
This argument makes me so mad. I don't even know where to begin, but I will begin very quickly. First of all, not all pupils that go to private schools come from privileged backgrounds. I came from a very ordinary background. My parents were not professional people, they were not wealthy people. I won a scholarship to a private school. There are bursaries, there are people that work in very ordinary jobs who will make enormous sacrifices to send their kids to a private school, which my parents were able to do with my brother. He had a bursary, but from working hard, we were very, very ordinary people, because the view was education will be your passport into something else. Okay. Second of all, we want to prioritise those who want to do this, who maybe want to go into medicine. It's down to the school itself to encourage people to look at their talent and say, this is something you could be capable of doing. Not every person that goes to a private school knows doctors and dentists and lawyers and accountants. My eldest did medicine, and I remember work experience being a requirement, and it wasn't because, I knew a million doctors, but anywhere that you saw a possibility, even if you go to your local GP practice and say, by the way, my son went to a state school, by the way, do you know anything about possible work experience?
Do you not think the education...
You have to be... it starts in the house. It starts in the home. You say to your kids, we might not have much, but education, a fulfilling career, will take you somewhere. So let's find ways to help you get what you need there. And then, of course, the system helps you. But
this is politics there is that you have
envy.
that stable family platform. And, of course, if you look at kids from state schools, they're more likely to come from deprived families, from families where they haven't got that support. Even an understanding of the workplace might be missing.
So if they don't have all that, then it will be a failing of the school. I accept that argument. It will be a failing of the school to not recognise potential and talent and say, you know what, you could make a great doctor, you could get the grades, we're going to help you. I can see you're not from the kind of background where you might get that support. We will help you. The careers teacher will help you.
Michael, a level playing field is something we talk about a lot when it comes to education. Is it not just best to look across the board and say, kids, you're all the same, we're going to start from the same place, and you make your own opportunities?
I think when it comes to hiring doctors and nurses, it should be a level playing field. You should hire the best qualified person who's going to be the best at treating their patient. I think when it comes to work experience plays quite a specific role. So it's to make something seem like a realistic job that might not otherwise have seemed realistic, to give someone connections where they might have felt otherwise that was not a career for them. Now, I would wager that there are a lot more kids in state schools who think, the reason I won't go into medicine is because I can't see someone like myself being a doctor. I would suggest that that's not something which many private school kids think, right? Now, that's not going to say it's going to be completely easy for every private school kid, but I think it's totally reasonable for an NHS unit or hospital to say, we're going to prioritise the kids who probably otherwise would miss out if it weren't for this experience.
Loads more to talk about after the break. We'll be taking your calls. Whether private school school pupils should be banned from work experience placements. Some NHS trusts are reportedly only now offering work experience placements to local state schools. Is it a good way to level the playing field, or is it penalising pupils for the choices of their parents? Sarah is in Surrey. What do you reckon, Sarah? Shutting down work experience opportunities to private school kids, is that the way forward?
Good morning. No, I cannot see the logic in this at all. The concept of work experience is to show young people what it's like in the outside working world, it can also help in influencing them making their choices of subjects and future exams. So if we're talking level playing field, for instance, if that particular NHS trust or other company said, we're only going to take pupils from private schools, then that's wrong. It should be a level. Every child should have, be they state or private school, that opportunity to do a work experience. We're only talking 1 or 2 weeks. We're not talking university students making connections, but it can actually give them a great advantage, regardless of what school they go to actually look at that workplace and help them make a decision in their subjects, future exams, future careers.
The problem is, Sarah,
I cannot see the logic in that at all.
The opportunity to get to that point, the connection that it maybe takes to get that opportunity isn't equal. That, in fact, a lot of private school kids will have the confidence, the sheer confidence and the contacts, maybe through their mums and dads, to get the opportunity where state school kids just won't. They won't have the knowledge and the confidence to get to that point in the first place.
No, I don't agree with that, because schools, when they have their careers thing, they have a list of companies that will offer work experience placements. Now, that's irrespective of whether it's a private school or a state school. Now, if your child is looking at a particular thing and it's not on that list of companies that will offer work experience, then you have to go out and apply. And that could be by post, it could be by a phone call. And this is where I agree with the lady on your panel, that it is then up to the school and up to the parents to help support to get that placement. Okay. But to make a blanket ban is not fair.
OK. Thanks for your call, Sarah. I mean, the point is, Angela, not everybody has supportive parents. Not everybody has a good, pushy mum, for instance, who's going to make those opportunities happen.
They're not. But there's two things going on here. This is Labour's vendetta against private education, which we've seen with the whole...
Just to clarify, this isn't a Labour policy. This is just a hospital trust that decided to prioritise state school
OK,
kids.
but there is a culture. There is definitely a culture in the politics.
Why can't it be supporting the vast majority of kids who go to state schools?
I think
why does it have to be a vendetta, not just saying, look, what benefits the most people?
There's loads of great state schools. That's the first thing. Second of all, kids are very internet savvy. They look up all sorts of things on the internet. If they want to be doctors and they've got something in there and the school is encouraging them, that they can go online and see, where can I get work experience? Because we're talking about kids that will be at least 16 or 17 years old. They won't be allowed in a hospital any younger than that. And this notion is for the birds, that everybody that goes to a private school lives in some landed gentry area where they've got fantastic connections. I remember
why
with
pay
all
for
of
the
my
education
kids,
if it's not going to open up those opportunities?
But
why pay for it in the first place?
You pay for the
That huge
education so
investment.
that you have smaller classes, so that you have all the benefits that may
But the
prevail.
point is the smaller classes.
Well, can I just finish the point? But in terms of, this is all about connecting with people who may be able to give your kids access to hospitals or whatever. You can't just wander in any way. So even if you know a doctor who's a family friend, unless it's something like the local GP and it's his surgery, which I did with one of my kids, I just marched up, I didn't even know the guy very well, just marched up and said, do you take kids in for a couple of days? But, you know, otherwise, it can't be, even if you know some top consultant, he can't just have you in. He may say, our hospital has a scheme, this is what you need to do.
Everybody needs a mum like you. Not everybody has one.
Then the school jumps in.
So this is why I think one of the reasons people pay for their kids to go to private school is, as you say, because you've got smaller class sizes, which means that the teacher has time to give each kid a bit more individual encouragement. If you're in a state school where the teacher is already incredibly overworked and you've got a large class size, and saying it's the teacher's job to do this, I think is a bit unfair on those already overworked teachers.
No, my kids went to state schools. My state school the state school they went to had a careers fair. I used to do the journalism table, actually. I used to say, oh, just marry well. It's better. No, but seriously, no, because of what journalism these days. No, but in all seriousness, so everybody at that state school, they knew about it, they got letters home, was entitled to go to the careers fair, go to the table where there were doctors and where there were dentists and where there were lawyers and accountants or whatever. The school had made contacts with all of these people and say, how do I get in? That's what, when they used to come to my table, the journalism table, you know, I'd have 13-year-old kids and I'd say,
sounds wonderful.
start now.
I wonder if it's that well organised at every state.
Well, then
school
that's
across
the
country.
failing of the school.
OK, let's take another call. Vicky's in Leeds. Vicky, should we limit work opportunity, those opportunities just to state school kids? What do you think?
Right. From my own experience, I don't think that it's fair that kids from private school will automatically get work experience, whereas if you're from the state school, it's quite difficult because this year my son has been trying to apply for dentistry. We had 15 applications. We were all declined, and mentally my son was drained. I am a teacher myself, and I actually found it very difficult because he made phone calls. They said, oh, it's okay. And then as soon as he turned up, they said, oh, I'm sorry, this is not something that we do. Or if we send the application with the last name, he never got a reply. So if you get that chance, because we are from a private school, I think this is just unfair.
So, Vicky, do you know that those opportunities were taken by kids from private schools, or was it just a numbers thing?
Well, I think in a sense, because what happened is I have a friend of mine, she is a doctor. So when I went to my local GP for the work experience, they say, oh, we can't do that. And then my friend managed to arrange work experience for my son, but he has to travel a very long distance. And then what happened next, we actually wanted to have an experience in a dental practice. From submitting around 15 application form, personal statement, making all these phone calls, and then they all turned him down. I think it's really unfair, because I think that if I had connections, he will have easily had that work experience.
Okay.
Kids from
But we don't know. We don't know for a fact, Vicky. Listen, I hope your son gets that placement.
Yeah,
it's clearly
me too.
something he's passionate about. But we don't know for sure that it was connections that got those opportunities where your son failed.
They're very limited, Vicky. My son did dentistry and he went to a state school, and it was a bun fight to try and get work experience. First of all, dentistry itself is a very overcrowded application process. There's limited places and a lot of people want to do it. And because of that, they're all trying to get work experience. I mean, I do hope, Vicky, it was just simply because of the sheer numbers, because he sounds like a fine young man who deserves to get onto that course.
With about 7, grade 9, so that I think he should have had the chance, though, because that's what he wanted to do.
All I can suggest.
Well, all I can say, Vicky, is that not only is he clearly passionate, but he's got a mum that's sticking up.
He's got an amazing mum. And I would ring some of the dental schools that he's thinking of applying to and saying, look, we're really struggling to get his passionate. Can you give us any steers?
We have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Thank you so much, Vicky. Thanks for your call. Thanks for all your calls on that. Now it's time to find out what's coming up on Vanessa's fabulous show. Take it away, Vanessa.